Hey guys, my name is Vernon. I'm a senior here in the Honors College majoring in molecular biology, and I'm a neuroscience researcher. I know that summer 2020 hasn't been what we hoped for, but I've still been able to do some work in the lab. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that today. I just got to campus. It's a beautiful day here in Charleston. So we're going to go ahead and head over to the lab and I can show you guys what I've been working on. All right, guys, so I just got to one of the lab spaces, and before I get started with the tour, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what I do specifically. So like I said, I am a neuroscience researcher, and my work focuses on neurorehabilitation. Particularly, my project looks at changes that take place in the spinal cord after peripheral nerve injury. So what that means, let's say if you're in an accident and you damage the nerve in your leg, there are going to be some changes that take place in the spinal cord, specifically changes in your neural connections. And as a result of these changes, you're going to have some long-term deficits. So the purpose of my project is to see how estrogen or estradiol treatments can be used to mitigate some of those negative changes that take place. And to observe this phenomenon, we use a mouse model. So we have to surgically inflict a traumatic nerve injury on the mice, and then we harvest spinal cord tissue. And once that tissue is harvested, we have to slice it up into really, really thin slices, about 20 microns thick. And we do many different things to kind of just help us analyze or see some of those neural connections. And that main process is going to be called immunohistochemistry, and so, or IHC for short. And IHC is basically what I've been doing for the majority of the summer. So I've been going over some slices or some tissue samples that we had from the past to kind of visualize some of those connections. And I'll be able to show you some images later from some of the work that I've been able to do. So I'll go around now and kind of just give you guys a look at the equipment we use and how we're able to get to the point of actually visualizing those connections and trying to answer our scientific questions. So stay tuned. Before I go next door, I wanted to show you where we get our microscope slides set up. So this is the cryostat. We take the frozen mice spinal cords and we slice them here, and we're able to get those thin slices and place them on these glass slides. And so the glass slides we then take next door to the main lab space. So we're going to head over there. And this is the main lab space. So we take those slices that have been placed on the microscope slides and we usually store them in the freezer until we're ready to do our IHC. And IHC happens over here on the main lab bench. So I'll take the slide that I'm ready to work on. I'll get my antibodies out of the freezer. I have all of my buffer solutions here and any other chemicals and equipment that I may need, even PPE. And I do all of my magic here. And so that's about a 2-day process. And once the slides are prepped, we get to go to my favorite room, the microscope room. So this is our fluorescent microscope, and we use this to visualize the spinal cords, the cells within the spinal cords, as well as some of those neural connections I was talking about earlier. So the microscope actually has a camera attached to it, and this camera is connected to this computer. So I went ahead and pulled up some images. Let me cut the lights. So these are 2 examples of some of the images that I get to see and examine. So on the left-hand side, this is just a motor neuron. It's in one of the ventral horns of a spinal cord, and I took a picture of that for you. And also on the right-hand side, you can see a lot of those red dots. They're kind of hard to see, but that's a result of the IHC. So we're looking at some neural connections right here. And what we can do with these pictures is basically examine them. And we can examine them to see what stayed the same, what's different. And this kind of gives us an idea of like where our research is heading and what kind of questions we need to observe next. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's what I've been doing for a good part of the summer. But before I go, I wanted to give a special thanks to my PI, Dr. Jen Wilhelm. She's been a great help, a great mentor, and a great teacher. I couldn't have done this without her. As well as give great thanks to IRCA for awarding me a 2020 SURF grant. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to do this work as well. So huge thanks to IRCA. But otherwise, thanks for watching. And if you guys see me on campus, I love what I do. So feel free to stop me and chat if you want. Otherwise, stay safe. Wear your mask, and thanks for watching.